Whoa, hold up! March is here, and if you're not getting your garden ready now, you're already falling behind. But don't worry, I got you covered. This is your ultimate March gardening checklist to get everything prepped for spring. We're talking soil prep, the best crops to plant, must-have tools, and how to protect your garden from pests and frost. Stick around for the full checklist, because if you skip even one step, you might end up with weak plants, fewer veggies, or a garden that's way harder to maintain. Let's make sure you start the season strong. Ready? Let's go! Alright, first things first, it's time to wake up your garden from its winter sleep. March is the transition month when temperatures start to rise and nature begins to stir. But before you get excited and start planting, you need to prep your garden properly. Think of this as spring cleaning for your plants. The first thing you need to do is clean up any debris, dead leaves, or weeds that have built up over winter. Grab a rake and go over your garden beds, lawn, and pathways. Old leaves and dead plants can hide pests, disease, and mold, which could spread to your new plants if left unchecked. Plus, clearing out last season's mess will make your garden look instantly refreshed and ready for growth. While you're at it, keep an eye out for signs of mold, fungus, or rot, especially in areas that stay damp over the winter. If you see any white, fuzzy mold or dark, slimy patches on plants or soil, remove those areas immediately. If you had any mulch left from last season, assess its condition. If it's decomposed and mixed into the soil, great. That means it's feeding your garden. But if it's moldy or clumped up, replace it with fresh mulch to prevent disease. Your soil has been sitting all winter and it's probably compacted. Hard, packed soil makes it difficult for plant roots to spread and absorb water. To fix this, grab a shovel or a garden fork and loosen up the soil. A light tilling or turning helps aerate it, making it easier for roots to grow and for water to drain properly. Now let's talk about nutrients. Winter can deplete your soil, so testing it is a must. You can get a simple soil test kit from a garden center or online. This will tell you your soil's pH and nutrient levels. If your soil is too acidic, add lime. If it's too alkaline, sulfur can balance it out. Compost is the best all-natural way to improve soil health, so mix in some organic matter for an extra boost. Mulch is your garden's best friend. Once you've cleaned up and loosened the soil, add a fresh layer of mulch around trees, shrubs, and garden beds. This helps with moisture retention, suppresses weeds, and protects young plants from sudden temperature changes. Plus, it makes your garden look neat and tidy. Pro tip: use organic mulch like wood chips, straw, or shredded leaves. These break down over time and enrich the soil. Avoid dyed mulch or anything treated with chemicals, as they can harm your plants. With a clean, aerated, and nourished garden, you're now ready for planting. Now that your garden is cleaned up and the soil is refreshed, it's time for the fun part, planting. But what you can plant in March depends on your climate. Some gardeners can start planting directly outside, while others still need to wait for warmer temperatures. No worries, I'll break it down so you know exactly what to do, no matter where you live. Cool season vegetables, direct sowing for warmer climates. If you live in a warmer region where the ground isn't frozen, you're in luck. You can start planting cold hardy vegetables directly in your garden. Some of the best crops for March include leafy greens, lettuce, spinach, kale, and Swiss chard grow quickly and love cool temperatures. Root vegetables, carrots, radishes, turnips, and beets are perfect for early spring planting. Peas, snap peas, and garden peas thrive in the cool weather and are one of the easiest crops to grow. Brassicas, broccoli, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts can be planted now for a late spring or early summer harvest. Make sure to plant these in well-prepared soil with plenty of organic matter. Since the weather can still be unpredictable, keep some frost cloths handy in case of a late-season cold snap. Colder climates, start seeds indoors. If you're still dealing with frost and chilly temperatures, don't worry, March is prime time for starting seeds indoors. Many warm weather crops need a head start before they're transplanted outside in late spring. Some of the best seeds to start indoors now include tomatoes. These need about 6 to 8 weeks of indoor growth before being transplanted. Peppers, bell peppers, chili peppers, and jalapenos grow best when started early. Eggplants, another heat-loving crop that benefits from an early start. Herbs, basil, cilantro, parsley, and oregano grow great indoors and can be moved outside when it warms up. To start seeds indoors, use seed trays or small containers filled with a light, well-draining seed-starting mix. Keep them in a warm spot, around 65 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and provide plenty of light, either from a sunny window or a grow light. Keep the soil moist but not soggy, and you'll see sprouts in just a few days. Flowers. Bring color to your garden. March isn't just about vegetables. If you want a beautiful, colorful garden, now is the time to plant early flowers. Some flowers that can be planted now include pansies and violas. These can handle cool temperatures and will bloom early. Daffodils and tulips. If you planted bulbs in the fall, they'll start popping up now. Snapdragons and calendula. These add gorgeous color and attract pollinators to your garden. For flower lovers in colder areas, start annual flowers indoors so they'll be ready to bloom as soon as spring fully arrives. Fruit trees and berry bushes. March is also the best time to prune fruit trees and berry bushes. If you have apple, pear, or cherry trees, trim off dead or weak branches to encourage strong growth. If you've been thinking about planting new trees, now is a great time to do it before the hot weather sets in. Berry lovers, this is the moment to plant new raspberry, blueberry, or blackberry bushes. These will establish their roots in the cool spring weather and give you delicious fruit in the summer. Final tip, keep an eye on the weather. Spring weather can be unpredictable. One day it's warm and sunny, the next it's freezing cold. If you're planting outdoors, check your local frost dates and have protective covers ready in case of a temperature drop. Now that you know what to plant, let's move on to tools and garden maintenance so you're fully prepared for the growing season. A gardener is only as good as their tools. Before the real work begins, take a little time to check, clean, and prepare your gardening gear. Well-maintained tools make everything easier, from digging to pruning, and can save you a lot of frustration later. Let's go through everything you need to do before planting season kicks into high gear. First, pull out all your gardening tools: shovels, rakes, pruners, shears, trowels, and anything else you use. Chances are they've been sitting in storage all winter, and they might be dirty or even rusty. Start by cleaning them. Fill a bucket with warm soapy water and scrub off any dirt or plant debris. If you see rust, use steel wool or sandpaper to scrub it away. Sharpen your blades. Dull pruners, shears, and shovels make your job harder and can even damage plants. Use a sharpening stone or a file to give them a clean edge. Oil moving parts. Pruners and shears can get stiff over time. A little bit of oil, like WD-40 or vegetable oil on the hinges, keeps them working smoothly. If you take care of your tools now, they'll last longer and make gardening much easier. Plus, sharp and clean tools reduce the risk of spreading diseases between plants. Nothing's worse than setting up your garden, turning on the hose, and realizing there's a leak. Before you need to start watering regularly, check your hoses, watering cans, and irrigation systems. Look for cracks or holes in your garden hoses. If you find small leaks, you can patch them with waterproof tape, but if it's really bad, it's time for a new hose. Test your sprinklers and irrigation lines. Make sure they're not clogged and that water is coming out evenly. Clean out your watering cans. Sometimes algae or residue builds up inside. Give them a good rinse so you're not introducing anything weird into your soil. Your garden structures take a beating during the winter, especially if you get heavy snow or rain. Before plants start growing, inspect everything. Raised garden beds. Are the boards still sturdy? If they're rotting or falling apart, replace them now before your plants are in the way. Trellises and plant supports. If you grow climbing plants like peas, beans, or cucumbers, check your trellises. Are they wobbly? Reinforce them before the vines start growing. Fences and barriers. If you have fences to keep out deer, rabbits, or other critters, check for any gaps or damage. Pests will take advantage of any weak spots. If you've been thinking about expanding your garden with new raised beds, containers, or vertical gardens, March is the perfect time to build them. Get it done now so everything is ready when it's time to plant. A healthy compost pile is like gold for your garden, but it needs a little attention before spring. If you have a compost bin or pile, give it a good turn with a pitchfork to mix everything up. This helps speed up decomposition and ensures the nutrients are evenly distributed. If your compost looks dark and crumbly, it's ready to use. Spread it in your garden beds to enrich the soil before planting. If it still has large chunks of food scraps or leaves, give it a few more weeks to break down. No compost pile? No problem. You can start one now by layering kitchen scraps like fruit and veggie peels with yard waste, like grass clippings and leaves. By summer, you'll have nutrient-rich compost ready to go. Before planting season starts, go through your seed packets and supplies. Check seed expiration dates. Seeds don't last forever. Most last 2 to 3 years, but older seeds may have a lower germination rate. Do a quick germination test. If you have old seeds, dampen a paper towel, place a few seeds inside, and keep it in a warm spot for a few days. If they sprout, they're good to plant. Stock up on essentials. Do you have enough fertilizer, compost, mulch, and plant supports? Make sure you have everything you need so you're not scrambling last minute. Taking a little time to get organized now will save you so much hassle later when you're busy planting. Your garden is prepped, your seeds are ready, and your tools are in top shape. But before you start planting, there's one more crucial step: protecting your plants. March can be unpredictable with surprise frosts, sudden heat spikes, and hungry pests waking up after winter. If you don't take precautions now, all your hard work could be ruined before the season even starts. Let's go over how to defend your garden against pests, unpredictable weather, and other threats. Stay ahead of pests before they take over. Spring brings new plant growth, but it also wakes up pests looking for food. Instead of waiting until they become a problem, get ahead with these simple steps. Inspect your garden for overwintering pests. Check under leaves, in the soil, and around the edges of garden beds. Slugs, aphids, and beetles often hide in mulch or plant debris. If you spot any, remove them before they start multiplying. Use natural pest control methods. Avoid harmful chemicals and opt for natural solutions like neem oil spray, great for keeping aphids, spider mites, and whiteflies away. Diatomaceous earth. Sprinkle this fine powder around plants to stop crawling insects like slugs and beetles. Companion planting. Plant flowers and herbs that repel pests. Marigolds, basil, and garlic help deter unwanted bugs. Keep larger pests out. If deer, rabbits, or rodents are a problem in your area, protect your plants with barriers. Use chicken wire around young plants. Set up garden netting over seedlings. Sprinkle cayenne pepper or garlic powder around plants to deter nibbling animals. Be ready for frost and unpredictable weather. March is tricky because one day it's warm, and the next temperatures drop below freezing. If you're not prepared, a sudden frost can damage young plants. Check your local frost dates. Knowing when the last frost is expected in your area helps you time your planting. If a cold night is in the forecast, protect your garden with these tips. Use frost cloths or old sheets. Cover plants overnight to trap warmth. Just remember to remove them in the morning so plants get sunlight. Mulch for insulation. A layer of straw or wood chips around plant bases keeps the soil warmer and protects roots from sudden temperature drops. Move potted plants indoors. If you have container plants, bring them inside or place them in a sheltered spot overnight. Protect plants from sudden heat spikes. Just as frost can be a problem, an unexpected heat wave can stress young plants. Provide shade with row covers or plant lightweight cloth over delicate seedlings to prevent sun scald. Keep an eye on plant health. Even if you take all the right precautions, your plants can still be affected by diseases, fungus, or nutrient deficiencies. Stay ahead by doing these 3 things. Watch for early signs of disease. Yellowing leaves, black spots, or mold growth can indicate fungal infections. Remove affected leaves immediately and apply organic fungicide if needed. Rotate your crops. Don't plant the same vegetables in the same spot every year. Crop rotation helps prevent soil-borne diseases and keeps nutrients balanced. Water wisely. Too much moisture can lead to root rot, and too little can stress plants. Water in the early morning so plants have time to absorb moisture before the sun gets too hot. Pests, frost, and unpredictable weather can be frustrating, but with a little preparation, you can protect your garden and keep it thriving all season long. Start using natural pest deterrents now. Be ready with frost cloths for cold nights. Mulch, shade, and smart watering keep plants healthy. Now, you're officially ready for spring gardening. If this guide helped you, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, what are you planting this month? Happy gardening!